Okay, I already told you about Brownie McGee, Sonny Terry Brownie McGee, that we played with him at the Gastown, or the Gassy Jacks down in Gastown. And they were great. They had, blowing on the harp, Sonny and Brownie playing the guitar. And, I had a bunch of groupies. I loved their music, though. They played that old-fashioned Delta blues, which is my favorite. And anyway, this chapter is actually about Chuck Berry, who is one of my biggest heroes as far as music goes. I remember first hearing him when I was a kid in Sycamoose, and he was doing stuff, like Ride Along in My Automobile, or, Chuck Berry doing Johnny Be Good, and, Nadine, Nadine, Maybelline, why can't you be true? And he wrote, so many great songs. Roll Over Beethoven, and I always thought he was a white guy when I was a kid. First time I ever saw a picture of him, I went, holy crap, he's black. And he actually told people that he did that on purpose. He wrote songs that he thought the white kids, teenagers and stuff, would like. But he was a master at lyrics. I still do a lot of his songs, like C'est la vie. It was a teenage wedding and the old folks wished them well. The coolerator was filled with TV dinners and ginger ale. One of my favorite ones is the one that he does, I'll be gone like a cool, cool breeze. That's a great song. Anyway, I got a chance to play a gig with him. He used to come to town. I heard came to Vancouver a few times, and he would come to town, and Danny Tripper knew him. Danny Tripper was a good friend of mine, sort of, and my favorite guitar player. I heard him and Danny used to party around together, and Danny'd find him girls for Chuck Berry, and so he could screw. Danny probably loved Chuck Berry, of course, but anyway, we got booked at a gig at War Memorial Gym at UBC with Chuck Berry. I don't know who booked us. I was in Shakedown, my band, and it was me, Marshall Hunt, Rick Clark on drums, Marshall Hunt on bass, me and Neil Harnett on guitar, and then I brought Lisa for singing backgrounds, and her brother Mark, I think, came to that gig and played saxophone, and so we went up first and played our set, which of course nobody really wanted to hear, and then Chuck Berry, the band that was backing him up, he just used to pick up bands in every town because every band knew his songs, you see. They're all 3-chord songs. And he would come to town and then just show up. And that song I was thinking of was called You Can't Catch Me. That's a great song. Anyway, the band, we finished our set and we got off stage, and there's a dressing room downstairs, and the band gets up onto the stage, and they didn't know what to do, you see. We're waiting for Chuck Berry. So they get up and they start playing something. I don't know what they were playing. And everybody's out in the audience getting all hipped up, and I'm waiting. And so I don't know where the rest of my band was, but I walking down the stairs. Chuck Berry used to come in a limo from his hotel. He used to just fly on an airplane and by himself with his guitar. He never took a band. And he had a little suitcase with his clothes in it, I guess. And he'd show up at the airport, jump in the limo, go to the gig. Maybe they paid for a hotel for him, I don't know. But anyway, he showed up in his limo, I guess. I was going down the stairs, and I saw him coming up the stairs. And so I reached out and touched him on the shoulder, or patted him on the shoulder, and said, "Have a good gig, Chuck," And I heard he punched Keith Richards right in the face for touching him like that. But he was nice to me. He just said, "Oh yeah, thanks a lot," And up the stairs he went, and then he got up on stage, and the band's all excited, of course. There was 3 guys behind him, I think, 3 or 4, and so he plugs his guitar in, and he tunes up to the band while the band is playing. He's bing, 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 bing a little bit till he's in tune, and then he starts off playing and does all his antics and a whole bunch of great songs, and he kind of messed around a lot when he played. He was kind of like a joker, you know. Keith Richards used to get mad at him because he didn't play anything serious enough, you know. His recordings were serious, but I seen him a lot of times live at, films of him, and he always joked around a lot, and he didn't play anything serious, you know. But anyway, he got up there and he played his set, and he ended with Johnny Be Good, and you see, and then he walks off the stage, and the whole audience goes wild, and they're clapping, yelling for Chuck, we want Chuck Berry. They're laughing, crying, and meanwhile, I see him, I'm standing there, he walks right by, see you later, and he's down the stairs, out the back, in the limo with his money, and off he goes. And I left the band up on the stage playing. And so they play for a while, and the crowd's going, yeah, we want Chuck Berry. And then finally the band are looking at each other, what do we do now? And so finally they just quit. And they walked off the stage, and of course the crowd kind of went a little bit mad, I think, you know, hey, what happened here? You know, you always get an encore. But I can't remember him, you know, before he walked out, after he got off stage the first time and took his guitar with him, he never went for an encore. He'd left the building, you know. So that's my Chuck Berry story.